Reality versus Sora.
With beautiful multitasking and micromanagement, we had Reality with a win in game number 2, forcing this third game of the series. It's happening on a Frost, where the Terran player spawns at the bottom right. Frost is the map choice of our Protoss player here, Sora, who starts to the top right in red. The CJ Entus player win game number 2, trying to execute a timing, cutting probes, but then surprised by Reality's aggression and his drop play. Playing very passive and, yeah, in the end not standing a chance against Reality there. So let's see what game number 3 is going to be like.
I'd like to see Blink. This is a great position for Blink fake aggression into third. That build doesn't really have a name. I'm going to start calling it the Blink fake. It's a very real threat, but it's not a commitment. And it's the build that you do where you get the Twilight Council, the Terran sees it, then you take a third base, and you tech up, and the Terran is like bunkering up, freaking out. And on this map, it's really good because your third base as a Protoss is even further away from the Terran, so if he does get onto you, you have that extra spacing to work with. And the map rush distance is pretty good as well. CC first goes down for Reality, and we have the Nexus first as well for Sora. We had a match just earlier today that went out just this way between Supernova and escapes me right now what player he was playing against the Protoss in our previous group who made carriers. But CC first versus Nexus first, the choice on this map.
I'm thinking about it now as well. Went out as the first player. It was... I'm drawing a blank here right now as well.
It's like one of those things where you draw a blank.
Unbelievable. That's like crazy. That we
you draw a blank, right? Situation. And then you just cannot...
Stats. Thank God. Right. Yeah, that was embarrassing.
Nah, don't be embarrassed. These things happen to all of us. It happened to both of us at the same time.
It's actually not our fault. Stats won his game so fast that he didn't leave an impression.
He like made carriers and we were just like, what? This is like...
Shh. Like, that was the wrong thing to say there. You don't have my back anymore. Not leaving an impression and then suddenly mentioning the carriers, that doesn't work well.
I don't know, man. The carriers just wiped my memory.
Oh, they wiped your memory?
The interceptors intercepted my receptors.
Overloaded?
They intercepted my receptors.
Brain cells overloaded. Carriers I cannot comprehend, cannot commute.
You know, the other day there was a mothership in a game. Actually, twice in one day. 2 motherships in one day.
Those still exist?
I couldn't sleep for days.
Well, game number 3 is live now. Reality versus Sora, guys. And we have Reality with quite the heavy commitment to bio. This is bomber style that we are seeing right now. That's 4 barracks already this early in the game. I guess it's a fair assumption to say that Reality is trying to be aggressive in the match. That's not because he's scared and tries to be defensive.
Yeah.
So the problem with this, as usual, is the Mothership Core. Mothership Core with Photon Overcharge is the biggest obstacle for a Terran player when he wants to attack with Bioforce in the early stages of the game. So it looks a little bit like Reality is going into a mode where he's like, I'm going to have so many bio units that your Photon Overcharge doesn't interest me at all. And I am very eager to see if that works out.
If he can actually catch this Mothership Core, it will work out. If he can kill the Mothership Core, then...
I hope that he won't be able to, just because I don't think he builds a strategy of backing his hopes on a Mothership Core.
By the way, there's also going to be a third Nexus for Sora.
Yeah, the probe already waiting there.
What is happening? This game is crazy. Alright, so he doesn't have enough for a recall, and the Marines they're going, man.
Yeah, but that's not enough. That's not really the push that he's trying to execute. That's just a little bit of poking. He has a lot of gas taking, so we are probably very soon seeing the add-on here for Stim. He takes a third gas.
Just gonna maybe add like 4 tech labs and like just start making Marauders.
Well,
there's the Twilight Council.
There's the Twilight Council already. The first tech lab has been dropped. He has enough resources to get the second one now. Tries to use the high ground to his advantage. Taking down maybe a Stalker, not just quite, but the Zealot goes down.
This is part of the reason why we don't see these types of Marine, like pure Marine builds all too often, because you can just kite them for such a long distance. Okay, Mothership Core helps out.
Stim has been started. There comes the third base. That he... Did he see that? He might have spotted it with a Marine.
Let's see.
Once again.
Well, he's definitely going to see it now. I think.
Yeah, vision check would be nice here. That's a lot of Marines though. They're trying to sneak in here, but Sora has incredible micro, and as I say it, he loses one of his stalkers. He loses the second one as well, so never mind me.
Well, this is really interesting. It's not the blink fake, it's the third before blink. It's the...
This is so interesting to me because that's so many barracks, there's so much bio, but I expected him to just mass up a huge amount of units and just go for it with maybe Stim and try to have so much burst damage that it doesn't really matter if there is a Photonova charge or not, or it's simply designed to take down third base. But right now we have two builds collide where Reality already throws away a lot of Marines in the early game. Sora with good micro is able to take most of the Marines down, but then in the end loses 3 Stalkers regardless. Gears up with Blink and a massive amount of gateways behind the third base.
This is like even scarier. Okay, so it's scouted now. This also confirms he doesn't know about the third Nexus. So this is even scarier. This is basically even scarier than if he went Blink into the third base and had the extra minerals to the attack. Now he's going to have like way more extra minerals. And so therefore way more Stalkers and way more gateways.
But scary
7 Stalkers.
Scary for whom? For Reality?
Yeah.
Look at the production that Reality has. When this attack hits, Reality is going to have maybe even the first few medivacs, but he will definitely have Stim and a lot of Marauders. His production is insane right now. He will have Concussive Shell, maybe +1 attack. Like, I don't know, that's going to be a massive army clash between the two of them.
It certainly will be. And if Sora commits to this, he's going to have to be careful with how he does it. But this is still so much production for Sora right now. Like, you're so right in that it's a clash of 2 massive armies. He gets a Forge. And did he see... Okay, now he's going to go verify. I want to see what he's seen because he decides not to commit to the attack, which it looked like he was so ready to do. He's not going to... On this map in these positions, both players get a really easy third base. That's why we have the fast third for Sora, and that's why even Reality's taking his command center on the low ground. So it's hard for him to just say, well, maybe I'll try to attack your third because, well, he can't. It's just too far away. So now he has this huge mineral sink he put into gateways, so it delays his tech a little bit, and that means his upgrades are going to be behind, which they already massively are.
This game is so super funny to me. Like, at first it really looked like both of them would be very aggressive. Sora with the Blink Stalker build with a lot of gateways, but behind the third, at the same time Reality taking a third and having a massive production for bio units, and now both of them are just sitting tight. Yeah. Sitting there and trying to get their tech out. It looks a little bit like they want to go for aggression, but they are a little bit afraid that that might lose them the game.
Timid. Considers not opening these, but decides to go for it to help his Zealot surface area. He's researching now Charge, but also going into double Colossus production and the Temple Archives after that. He's like decided to do everything at once. Yeah, this is a good spot here.
One of the things is just that the tech for Sora is a bit faster, and he has the faster third here too.
These Stalkers are coming to the wrong place at the wrong time, but they're going to buy some time, and there they come the rest of the Stalkers.
Well, maybe he can turn around and pick 1 or 2 off before he leaves, but no. The entire army is gone now, though, and on the right side of the map, suddenly there's this double drop again, and that already made a huge impression in the last game, and he's going for it once more. He wants to have that Nexus, and he's going to get it.
I'm not so sure he's going to get the Nexus, actually.
With those Marauders, he's going to get that.
The Zealots are not actually attacking at all, so yeah, he is.
Survived with like 5 Marauders. Like, Marauders do so much damage with Stim. The only chance that he had there is if he would have warped in more units and the Colossi would have turned around immediately. But without that happening, that Nexus was gone for sure.
Zealots did not even... Like, most of them were not even firing, or attacking, I guess I should say. Zealots don't fire for melee units, but... 2 more Colossi about to pop out. And this has been a consistent problem for the past 2 games now for Sora. It's now a pattern of him losing his Nexi. Does not have a 4th base, and
this is just one of the things that Terran players have been doing against Protoss for so long. Like 4 Marauder drops, for example, even Wings of Liberty, that was scary as hell.
This is just like Reality saying, I think you're too comfortable as a Protoss with the Mothership Core. And it's like, what is that? I don't care about that. I'm just going to attack you. This is pretty effective, though.
Yeah, that's a good run by. That is incredibly good. Forces the units back, allows Sora to get a good position now. And he just runs away, doesn't even sacrifice them.
A ton of fake Colossi here, but it's not going to matter. Holding his SCV is still a little bit panicked.
Yeah.
And those zealots could come back at any time.
I guess it's better safe than sorry. The problem that Sora has is the longer he waits, the better the Viking count for his opponent is going to be. What comes into play then is, of course, Storm. That's really going to help him.
Storm is the only thing that he has over his opponent once that finishes, because the Viking count is going to be plenty enough to deal with these Colossi most likely. He's also building a very heavy Marauder composition because he has economy to do so, because he got his third base up so fast. DTs could be interesting, and I like this base at the top left that Sora is taking, because that's not going to be something Reality can punish for, not even with drops, unless he spots it, which he's likely to not.
Yeah. The game is just fun in general right now. I mean, yes, they are both sitting back a little bit, just gearing up, but at the same time, we always have these pokes that really work so well. Reality marauding the army with a few dropships and always trying to snipe a couple of buildings with his heavy hitting force there. On the other hand, Sora moving in with Zealots at the third base of his opponent, trying to get into a good position with the rest of the army and maybe deciding the game in his favor. Going to 700 APM, 800 APM for Sora. Oh my god.
That's like one of those, when I see that, I see like somebody who's panicked.
That's one of those head hits keyboard moments.
Oh, I think it's when he realized he didn't get range for his massive commitment to Colossi.
Well, hitting that range button like crazy. Here comes the Storm on the other hand, and those Storms are good.
Well, those Storms are pretty good. The Time Warp assisting as well, and the lack of range looks scary. Warp Prism being warped in here underneath the turret. Luckily for him, it's going to finish those Zealots before it goes down. Still, a Bioforce back at home. But Reality has to turn around, and this is an opportunity that Sora takes to try to catch him off guard here. That Blink 40 kit with some of the Vikings is annoying.
And we have the Colossi now trying to get close once again, and the Vikings shutting them down, but a little bit too far. They're extending too much. And now suddenly it's time for the Stalkers to kill one Viking after another. The anti-air for Reality nearly completely gone. A few more Vikings being built. Overall supply, army supply for them exactly the same.
Marine being ignored by the Zealots. There's so many Colossi in this army, 4 of them with range now. Guardian Shield goes up. The Zealots, once they join the army, are going to be so powerful. This army, though, is mostly Marauders. 31 Marauders and 13 Marines. 5 Vikings out now. 4 at a time being produced, but needs a little bit more time. Plus 3 armor has been started for Sora. Upgrade-wise, I think they're fairly even. Yeah, actually, 1 upgrade ahead for Reality. He's on 2-1 versus just the 1-2.
A lot of missile turrets going down here to help up against additional Warp Prisms moving in once again. This is just such a great game right now. So tense. The Vikings looking for a good position. At the same time, the scans going on, always judging where exactly the Protoss player positions his army and where the best spot would be to have those Vikings in a good spot, where the Stalkers, for example, can't reach them immediately. And here comes Sora moving in on a third base, trying to get rid of those buildings at the front that are blocking his Zealots and the Archons.
Now, this is a great place to build your production facilities right here, so you block those Zealots out. The Colossi actually street those instead of fighting your army. All there are left are the reactors. The Storms continue to drop here, but I think that's his last one. It looks like he has just 1 Storm left.
But now those supply depots go down, and of course he lost the production buildings as well. They help out, that's true, but at the same time losing them is a problem.
Losing them is a problem. The Colossi at the back still trying to do what they can. SCV is off the line here. Zealots tank at the front. Guardian Shield goes up.
He moves in, snipes Colossus 1 and 2, and the stim is good. He takes down most of the army at the front. The Zealots are gone, but so much firepower. Both of them equally dropping in supply, but Sora does much more damage. The Colossi uncontested here.
When he lost those Vikings early on, that was a really big problem. That was a micro mistake that cost him this game, I feel. And Sora now with way too much firepower on the Colossi.
You're absolutely right. The lack of anti-air definitely killing Reality here. Sora had too many Colossi there in the end and nothing to contest them.
That was a big blunder to lose those Vikings, especially against a Colossus commitment of this magnitude. Good dodges against the Storms, but Sora takes a well-deserved win. A very stressful series for him, as you can see. His hand is shaking his head.
That was a scary moment. When he lost his natural against the double drop, that was super scary for him. And that was the point in the game where I really thought, alright, if Reality is now able to execute a drop play again that he showcased in game number 2, then it's going to be so super difficult for Sora to make anything happen here. But the patience that the Protoss player had there really coming through for him, it paid off. And that was a great best of 3 series that we had there. Really well played by Sora especially. But Reality making a really good showing.
Really good drop play. Ignoring the fact that he's basically just saying, in this series it felt like he was saying, I don't care about the Militia Corps, I'm going to drop like it's Wings of Liberty. And if you are too comfortable with that Mothership core floating around, I'm just going to ignore those shots. They can't kill my Marauders because I have the Medevac healing them. I'm going to kill your Nexus. Too late. Too bad.
The opening was a little bit weird that we saw there. A lot of bio commitment at the beginning by Reality, but not really following through with this. They're just having like small units or like small groups of Marines running across the map trying to do some damage, which was picked off by Sora really well thanks to his micro. Then losing that micro a little bit and losing 3 Stalkers in a row without actually spreading them apart. On the other hand, Sora gearing up for a massive, massive attack with a super huge amount of gateways and blink, but then never moving out and deciding, okay, the way this game goes, I probably should sit tight and get my tech out there. Yeah. But then later on, these battles that we had, that was super entertaining.
Yeah, it was really fun to watch, and now we have Reality drop into the losers match after a really close series, and Sora will go to the winners match. And we've got another match coming up, Hack versus DRG, to decide who's going to join the winners.
And that's going to come up in just 5 minutes after a short commercial break. So guys, stay tuned, and then we'll have best of 3 number 2 for you in this group. So see you guys in a few minutes.